everyone. This is episode 15, number 15, almost the 20 Angry Bears Fan Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Last few episodes, we've had more viewers than we ever had, so we appreciate that.
We appreciate everybody.
Big time. Like, follow, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all that good jazz. But today we're going to be going over Hate Ass Colin Cowherd's comments. We're going to try something a little new, maybe kind of react to what he said. Obviously, we'll touch base on the Super Bowl. Obviously, everyone wants to know about that and the bad call and the Juju AJ Brown Twitter war that was going on today. It was really funny. Jim Irsay's comments, and they also signed the Eagles offensive coordinator. Those are two things that bode very well for the Bears. And then Justin Fields' comments on T. Higgins and potential wide receivers they might take. All right, but we're working out the kinks before we start this. We'll get this video pulled up real quick. Our boy Colin Cowherd.
Been bad and bad. Well, the offensive line. No, it's actually rated 14th in the NFL. Burrows is rated significantly worse this year. In 2 years, he completes 59%, has a passer rating under 80, 24 TDs and 21 picks. It's bad. Justin Herbert started first game as a pro. He told he was starting 5 minutes before the game. His offensive line that year was ranked dead last in the league, and his coach was uncreative and got fired. He put up huge numbers. His offensive line is significantly worse as a rookie than the Bears this year. Andrew Luck's first 2 years, 11-5, 11-5. His O-line was much worse. Joe Burrow's this year is ranked 28th. Last year it was atrocious, and he got to a Super Bowl. You can't use the O-line anymore. It ain't great, but it's not Herbert rookie year bad. It's not Cincinnati last 3 years bad. It's not close to Andrew Luck bad.
All right, I want to stop right there real quick because I don't watch a lot of Chargers games, nor do I watch lots of Bengals games. Or what was the other quarterback you brought up? Even the Colts, start to finish, like I watch the Bears.
It's not even that. He brings up Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck. We got to remember that Andrew Luck was a generational talent when he came
that's
in.
what I was going to say, too. He's like cherry picking. Like, he didn't bring up Peyton Manning or Drew Brees or like other guys who were great, who weren't just amazing right off the jump. So I think he's
Josh Allen.
Yes, he's cherry picking the guys that he wants like to fit in. And like the Bears O-line looks good on paper because he runs so much.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And like he was saying too with like the Justin Herbert thing, like I get it, I understand. But he also had a very healthy Keenan Allen, because Justin Herbert was a rookie, 3 years ago? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So Keenan Allen 3 years ago, a very healthy Keenan Allen 3 years ago is probably top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
Top 10 for sure. You know what I mean? Even if you say he's not top 5, we'll say you can't argue he's top 10, which is amazing.
Talent-wise.
Same with Joe Burrow. Before he had Chase, he had T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Those are two very good wide receivers to have.
And he still had Joe Mixon.
Yes, and that was when he was hurt too. When he had his good season, he had Jamar Chase, he had T. Higgins. Like, we don't have any of those guys. They also had comparable defenses, which also play a part of it. It was where like they're not giving up a shit ton of points where the other team's in pass rush mode the whole rest of the game. You're just getting your ass kicked. Like, there's factors he's leaving out where it's like, yeah, the Bears had a good O-line because we ran the ball so well, and Justin Fields is so hard to sack. If he couldn't run like he could, he probably would have got sacked like 15 or 20 more times. If not that, like if you're, like I said, man, we know this as Bears fans, we're watching the fucking game. If he couldn't run, it would have been terrible because he would have got sacked, like I said, at 20 more times. If I had to guess,
we were talking about it too before, with the offensive line during the season and how the numbers are kind of juiced because while he does have the 14th best quote unquote offensive line in the league, when he holds on to the ball too much, he's trying to create or that internal clock is, going through his head pretty quickly because he's used to getting his fucking face pummeled in.
Yes.
And you can't measure those metrics just based off of taking a look at some numbers that PFF puts out and says, this is the 14th best offensive line in the league. Well, when you're watching it, eye test wise, it is
you could
not
tell,
the
yes.
14th best.
Joe Burrow doesn't. The Bengals don't make it to, a drive away from going to the Super Bowl and playing in the Super Bowl year before with a 28th worth line. There's factors that go in. Joe Burrow, like I said, I was talking, I don't know if it was in the last podcast, but me and you were talking where he said he takes sacks on third down if he can't get the first down. He's like, who cares? We're punting, doesn't matter. Like, it's not taking me out of field goal range. I don't care. I'll take sacks all the time on third down if the pass isn't there. So we'll get back into it real quick. But like I said, he's leaving out factors and he's cherry picking quarterbacks. There's plenty 100%. Of quarterbacks who sucked year one and were bad year two and finally got up out of it when their teams got better.
These guys won a lot. I mean, a lot. And many of their coaches. Andrew Luck's got fired. Justin Herbert's got fired. It's not like, well, the weapons. Oh, the weapons. Bears have good backs and an excellent young tight end. They could use another receiver. But again, his protection is better than anybody wants to acknowledge. And whereas with Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, I saw tremendous, staggering growth year one to year two, I didn't with Fields. He's more YouTube star. Sensational plays, but the little stuff, footwork, accuracy, I think you have to consider it.
He's such a clown.
One more season of average.
Yeah. Before he gets into his 4 reasons, which sparked me to go find the whole video. Like I said, again, he's not a Bears fan. He's clearly not watching games. He clearly makes strides. There was no strides to be made. What did he start 4 games last year? 5 games? And he got the first one he got killed.
I know it's his job to, create, a take like this. But this is the same Colin Cowherd that a couple months ago
was gassing him up.
Yes, 100%. So I get it. It's like it's the sports journalist ultimatum. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to go with the hot and cold takes and stuff like that.
And I don't want to see Justin Fields be run so much. But hate it or love it, it's not just that easy. You can't just write off him rushing for 1,000 yards. If it was so easy, everyone would just fucking do it. So it's not that easy. Yes, he has to, pick his spots. And like I said, we need to be more around 600 to 700 rushing yards and things like that. But he doesn't take a lot of big hits, to be fair. Most of his big hits he takes from sacks.
Yes.
But he's very good at sliding and getting down, and I do like that about that. But I did want to say he's being clowns. Of course, fucking Justin Fields made strides, and he barely played the first year. He started 5 games. He came in relief in a couple. There was nothing to build upon, and if there was, he definitely was better. He was a fucking, almost shattered Mike Vick and Lamar Jackson, or he did shatter Mike Vick's record. He almost beat Lamar Jackson. If he doesn't get hurt, he easily beat Lamar Jackson's record. So it's you can't keep discounting the running. I don't want to see that forever, but
he's talking about tight ends and running backs, right? 2 good backs. They were the number 1, rushing team in the NFL. Okay, so what's his argument there? And then he says
David Montgomery is a mid of the. I like David Montgomery. He's our guy, but he's top 15. What is he? The 15th best back and. Cole Kmet, again, I like him as well. He's one of our guys. What is he? The 15th best tight end? He ain't top 10. So I don't know where this excellence is coming from.
Those guys that he mentions, talking about weapons, they're not field stretchers. What's Justin Fields going to do? It's not like Cole Kmet is fucking Travis Kelce and he's going to have
field stretcher, or he doesn't even get separation at all. I like Cole, but that's the one thing he does. He doesn't get separation.
I don't understand where he's coming from with these weapons thing, because wide receivers are the ones that get you.
Yeah, 11. Joe Burrow's got Chase, T. Higgins, and fucking Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst, Joe Mixon. We got David Montgomery, fucking Mooney, Claypool, and Kmet. Stop it.
Yes.
Yeah. And even Andrew Luck, he had T.Y. Hilton. You know what I mean? T.Y. Hilton in his prime was very good wide receiver, top 10 every year type of guy.
To bad, and you'll get nothing for him. Secondly, the Bears have a defensive coach and a defensive culture, and they didn't draft him. He's not their guy. Third, Chicago probably won't have the number one pick for a while. I don't think they'll be good, but you're not going to be in this territory again. Use the opportunity. And four, you had Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith, and you couldn't win games. You think Will Anderson is going to come in and turn the franchise around? In an offensive pivoting league where it's hard to go on a 10-game losing streak, in a year the Packers were down and the Vikings and Lion defenses were atrocious. They lost 10 straight games. I think you have to consider calling Atlanta and saying, we'll give you Justin Fields. Give us your 8th pick. Go get Bryce Young. And then go get the second or third best edge rusher. I like Justin Fields, but I've never, ever thought he was Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's close to Caleb Williams or Drake May. I don't think he's an Andrew Luck. I don't think he's a guy that can succeed if the circumstances are great. He's more Trey Lance. He'll work if he gets the right stuff. And I don't know if Chicago will have the right stuff. But all you have to do is go to PFF and look at O-lines. His is middle of the pack. Some of those young guys they drafted ended up being pretty good. They spent a lot of draft capital on the O-line, and a lot of those guys were starting and pretty good. And they've got capable backs and a top tight end, and I think a good offensive coordinator. Yes, they could use other receivers. Nobody disputes that. But the numbers for Fields have not been great. If he struggles next year, you'll get nothing for him. Now you could probably get the 8th pick. I mean, if Carr goes to Carolina and Jimmy goes to Tampa, you think Arthur Blank, owner of the Falcons, wants to sit there and be awful again? I don't think so. Not like I know Arthur Blank well, but I don't think so. I think it's something you absolutely have to consider. This organization wasn't winning with Roquan Smith. The one with Khalil Mack. You weren't posting playoff wins. What's Will Anderson going to do? Good player. He'd be a great finishing piece for a young, if Kansas City could get him at the end of the first round, it'd be great for them. They don't have a lot of big needs. They have Chris Jones inside and Frank Clark. But to build around, let's be a good player in an offensive-leaning sport. J-Mac with the news.
All right. Again, I don't agree. Like, I just feel like they put up a bunch of trigger words and they're like going to rant about this shit. Cause it's like, just, I don't know if hypocritical is the word, but just going back and forth. Like, we do not have a good tight end. I like Cole Kmet, but he's like, no, but what will we get for him in a trade? A 5th, a 4th? Like, he's not good. He's not TJ Hawkinson. He's not any of the guys. He's just a quality tight end who can block and go out and run routes, and he'll have a nice long career. For now, I hope he takes stride. He has been getting better every year, so maybe. And I wrote a couple things down, like Drake May, Caleb Williams, like these guys having fun. Like Justin Fields, like what bar are they judging these guys on? Justin Fields played in college. He was better than both of those guys. If they're like, I'm fine if you think Caleb Williams is good, fine. What bar are you judging on? Justin Fields, when he was in college, was better than them. What makes you think they're going to come into the league and like, oh, they're for some reason whatever they're doing is going to translate, but Justin's didn't translate right away. Like, I don't like that. But I do. The one thing I do agree is we do have a middle of the pack O-line, but again, it's deceptive because he's leaving out like we're middle of the pack because we're such good at running the ball and so bad at passing that it comes back to the middle. Like
I said, we were the number 1 running team in the league. Yeah,
of course. So that's all. And we ran the ball a lot. So that's going to keep sack numbers down, keep these things down. Justin runs a lot. It's like those are another thing. It keeps sack numbers down. It's just deceptive. Anybody who watched all the Bears games, at times, not even at times, every single game, our interior O-line was getting destroyed. Justin Fields is just faster than defensive tackles. So they couldn't get to him. But he was right about our O-line. I think we did draft a few guys who are competent NFL players.
Oh, absolutely. Braxton Jones did a really good job at the left tackle spot, but the shit with him, you know what I'm saying? Like you brought up the whole Cole Kmet thing, saying he's an elite tight end. Like what? What?
Yeah, that's just like some shit to say to like just to make Justin look bad. Like he's not elite. I wouldn't even call him good. I think he's slightly above average. I think he's a nice young player, but he's not tight. He's like a tight end of old. Like in today's game, he's not that good of a tight end. He doesn't get separation. He's not a mismatch nightmare. We talked about this before. Anybody, linebacker can guard him, corner can guard him, safety can guard him. Everybody can guard him. Like, you know what I mean? He's not getting any separation.
That's why a name that the Bears need to target is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, like
free agency. That would be nice.
It's just really like Evan Ingram's just a wide receiver that, you know what I mean? He's a matchup nightmare. You put him on the inside, and linebackers can't guard him. But sorry to interrupt you. I just don't think any of these incoming guys are better prospects than Justin Fields. Like, and so like he's like, oh, don't get Will Anderson and Justin Fields, get Bryce Young and Brian Breeze. Like, what? That's gonna be better. Like, we're gonna win with that. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. Like,
another thing that got me upset. He was talking about, you know, the Bears not winning games with Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith. I mean, was he not around in 2018?
Yes, we're the best defense in the league, and Mitch Trubisky, we carried Mitch Trubisky. Like, yes, again, he's just, and Roquan, we won those games. Like, they work hand in hand. We got to have a quarterback hand those guys. So yeah, I think it was a lot of hyperbole to make him look bad, and also, like I said, he cherry picked quarterbacks. Not all quarterbacks are great right off the rip. Like Brett Favre wasn't amazing to start. Peyton Manning had his ups and downs. Drew Brees, Derek Carr, fucking, you know what I mean? The list you could pick, you know what I mean? Almost all of them, like they struggle to start. Justin, like we talked about before, has many, many things he needs to work on. Colin brought up the little things, footwork, short passes, check downs. Yeah, plenty of things, but I think he's throwing a lot of shade. And I don't think maybe Caleb Williams, but besides Caleb Williams, I don't think the kid from Kentucky, Stroud, Bryce Young, or Drake May are better prospects than Justin Fields anyway. So, like I said, maybe Caleb Williams. And even then, it's like, how are you certain his game's going to trend? Like, if you don't like Ohio State quarterbacks, like our USC quarterbacks, any even better? Like, fucking Carson Palmer, kind of, and he had a stacked team. But yeah, Colin's a fucking idiot. He has been gassing Justin Fields up all year now just to shit on him right before the draft. I think it's just going to be, they're the number one pick. It's a precarious situation to be in because usually when you're the worst team in the league,
you need a quarterback.
The Jags were in it, but it was pretty clear cut. They kind of blamed their whole season on Urban Meyer, and they just had like a roster full of talent, so they could just go best available. The Bears need to change their organization with this pick. The Jags just needed to pick the best available and the players that they had already drafted the last few years to step up and be quality. The Bears are talentless. And it's weird to say that because I didn't think Pace did that bad of a job drafting, but just looking at the roster, just like nothing there. We got nothing to look forward to. We got a couple young guys that we just drafted on defense. We got no pass rushers. We got no wide receivers. We got an excellent tight end. That's it. But
according to Colin Cowherd.
But like I said, even Dave Montgomery, I like him, but he's not. He's a middle of the pack running back. Khalil Herbert, again, middle of the pack running back. These guys are just hard nosed. You know what I mean? All those buzz catchwords, gritty, all that shit. They just get the job done, all that type of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know what? Free agency starts in 4 weeks. It's 1 month away.
Yes.
You know, so like I already brought up Evan Ingram. We've kind of beat this to death a little bit. So we're going to
continue to beat it. We can kind of. I mean, people are just going to get used to it. That's what people are tuning in for the Bears on off season anyway. I didn't realize Evan Ingram was a free agent because I feel like he just was. I didn't know what he just signed a 2-year deal.
No, it was a 1-year deal.
Oh, 1 year deal.
Yeah, it was a prove it deal.
So he had a solid year. He had a solid year too. So I'd be intrigued to kick the tires on him.
Just as a vertical threat tight end.
Yeah, you know, somebody up the seam. Justin, that's a throw Justin's very good at making too. Watching him play in college and even in that, though, he sees that well, the play action, and then right when he pops his head around, he likes to do those stick the ball out like Peyton Manning play actions, like where he completely turns his back to the defense. But yeah, I would like to see Evan Ingram. But again, it's just like I said,
a name that's growing on me though, because we were saying if we can't get a true number one wide receiver, somebody like, you know, like a T. Higgins or, you know, Keenan Allen if he's released, Mike Evans, whatever. One of the names I've been kind of like it's grown on me a little bit is Jacoby Myers out of New England, because I think he's a very similar kind of contract situation as Christian Kirk, where he's a number two, but I'd much rather have three number twos than nobody kind of
Yes,
thing.
I agree. Yeah.
But I think he's the best free agent available at the wide receiver position. He's a route runner and he's a possession guy. He's not a deep threat. So he's kind of like he'd be like I'm not comparing him to AJ Brown. I'm not saying he's AJ Brown, but he's your slant guy. He's your he's your corner guy to where he can make those sideline catches. He's got decent size. And he's more of a route runner, possession person, third down, wide receiver, throw the ball up to him and give him a shot to catch it kind of thing. So I'd like to see what his price tag would be. We talk about.
I don't want him for the price Kirk went for. I'll tell you that.
What was it? 6 years, $84 million.
Yeah, he got a lot.
Yeah. I don't know about Saquon or Josh Jacobs yet. Saquon,
I definitely don't want Josh Jacobs.
I would do 3 for 45 on Saquon, or like 4 for 60. Keep him in that 15 mil AAV range, somewhere around there. Maybe base some bonuses based on his health and performance. But that's right there. That's running back, wide receiver, tight ends. Of course, Orlando Brown Jr. didn't allow, that Kansas City offensive line did not allow any sacks in the Super Bowl against Philly. That vaunted Philly pass rush. Orlando Brown Jr. Swing Braxton Jones over to the right tackle spot. Let Orlando Brown eat over there at left tackle. And then on defense, we talked about the defense already with Tremaine Edmonds. I think he'd be a good fit as a Chicago Bear. Jamal Dean, cornerback from Tampa, who's a free agent, good young player.
I would like to see Dean. I don't know. I was talking to my buddy about Edmonds, and he was like, we just let Roquan go, and Edmonds is going to be the best or second best linebacker in free agency. He's going to want the bag, and we didn't want to pay Roquan. So it's like, what's he going to want? 16 mil? So, like, if we didn't want to pay Roquan, who was our guy and an all-pro, who's to say we're going to pay him? I would be – I mean, I am a homer. I got a Michigan hat on. I think almost every episode I've wore this motherfucker. I'm thinking Devin Bush. If we, we are going to need a linebacker. I think, again, I'll keep beating this in the ground. I think he's more of what we're going to have to go for, just because Ryan Poles didn't want to pay Roquan. So why is he going to pay a guy that is less proven, less he isn't as good, like he just less productive, and like I said, he wasn't our guy. I think it would be a bad precedent for him to pay Tremaine Edmonds what the market is going to dictate, and to let Roquan walk. It's going to be like, what the fuck? What did you even do that for? I think I think that would be bad business. Like I said, I would have to see if it's less than 15, then I'd be fine with it. If it's more than that, I would have been like, all right, Roquan earned the extra $3-4 million a year, especially with the cap how it is.
I don't think he's going to get. I don't think Tremaine Edmonds is going to get 15 though. I
don't think so.
I don't see it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, Roquan's at the market. If he got 20, I would guess, Edmonds would get 16 or 17. I would just like Kirk got 84. Like, I don't know. It just, if we get him for less than 15, I'll be fine. But anything that or more, I'd be like, why the fuck wouldn't you just pay Roquan? Like, and you can restructure. You pay him now, and then later on, you ask him, hey, can you restructure? We gave you all that money up front. Now we kind of need it on the back end. You know what I mean? When you take care of your guys on the front end, they take care of you later. So I think that's kind of how you got to do business. I guarantee that's what the Chiefs are going to do late in 3 years. They're going to say, hey, you're Mahomes, like, you want to be you know what I mean? Do you want to win more Super Bowls? Yeah, you're going to have to restructure this a little bit. Like, and they'll keep moving money around for 10 years until they actually have to pay them. Like, I'm assuming I'm guessing Robert Kraft, just when Tom Brady retires, just gave him like 10 duffel bags full of cash and like some stock or something. Like, he clearly would, like, Robert Kraft fuck with Tom Brady. I would guess like he was like, hey, you need anything, or you have business or whatever. I don't know, because that
he probably gave him. There's a lot of rumors that he gave him a percentage of the Patriots when he.
That's what I'm saying, like, because that is in reality how they won so much, is that Tom Brady never took them for what he could have took them for. It's kind of similar. I don't like he hasn't been as successful as Tom Brady, but LeBron did this for a long time where like he was never even the highest paid player in his team and he's like the best player in the NBA. Like it just didn't pan out like Tom Brady did, but some of these guys are going to have to take note. Mahomes so far is the only one. It's like he got his bag, and that really just kicked in, this year, right? Or is it going to kick in next year?
Next year.
It's $50 million, right? Or
yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Their time of when it might be over with. I mean, it's going to be tough. Andy Reid was talking about he may retire before the game. If he retires, it might.
No, he already said he's coming back next year.
Coming back? I know before the game he said he was thinking about it.
What's fucked up is when you think about this realistically, when Andy Reid retires, you know who's going to be their head coach?
It's not going to be Matt Nagy.
It's going to be Matt Nagy.
Well, if he retired this year, it would have been Eric Bieniemy, right?
No. Eric Bieniemy's getting job interviews.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is if
coordinator elsewhere.
Yeah, I know, but if Andy Reid retired, he would be first in line for the job.
Would he though? Because I have something like that in my notes because realistically, when you look at things, he's taking offensive coordinator interviews to go and prove himself, somewhere else to get out of the shadow of Andy Reid. But yet Philadelphia just had both of their coordinators hired as head coaches. Bieniemy's got 2 fucking Super Bowl rings.
They're young. They're young too. Guys, they love the young guns. And it's like, I don't know.
I get it, but this man is proven to
you are true. I for a while I was on the it's because he's black train, but that is true. It's like, why aren't people hiring him? But that makes me think like he's not either not taking certain interviews that he don't want to go. And so guys are like, he's stuck up. He don't want to take a bad job. Or he's like thinking Andy's going to retire and they're going to give him the job. Matt Nagy is not going to be the fucking head coach of the Chiefs. Maybe if Andy Reid retired in the middle of the season, maybe. But he would not. Right now, he would not.
Matt Nagy, listen to me. We can come back to this when it happens. When Andy Reid retires, Matt Nagy will be the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, Angry Bears, that'll be episode like 180 something. But we will definitely get back to that. I will not like Matt Nagy's terrible.
You don't need to be a good head coach when you got fucking Patrick Mahomes throwing the football.
That is true. But a little more on free agency. Justin Fields was asked about T. Higgins and Jackson.
I just call him Jackson Smith, man. I'm not even.
Yeah, Jackson Smith, Nigba. I could say it. I'm half black. You guys do. He said he really liked them. They were teammates. Again, I think it's kind of, you know what I mean? You got a little Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow magic, maybe not so much because Jamar Chase was ungodly. He sat out the year because he was the best wide receiver. And I thought it was a joke, but it was clear, you know what I mean, that he was top 5 in the NFL for sure. I wouldn't say he's the best, but he's definitely top 5. Who would be the best? I guess a conversation for a different day.
The best what?
Wide receivers.
Oh, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Justin Jefferson. God, those guys and Joe Burrow on the same team. That is ridiculous.
I know. That's crazy.
Did they have somebody else too? I'm trying to think.
It wasn't it Booty or whatever. He was a freshman though.
I forgot who it was. But yeah, Justin Fields said he would very much like T. Higgins, and the same with Jackson Smith. We'll just say Jackson Smith. Like I said, I've been beating that drum or whatever you want to call it. I think that is a good idea for both. I've seen some things out there. What was it, a second this year and a third next year for T. Higgins? I'd definitely be down for that. Same. And then I don't know what the price would be to trade back in the first, but it wouldn't be so bad for us because we're getting whatever we get for the first pick. What I've been seeing circulating most, I think a lot of the ridiculous offers have died down, or I think people have fallen off that hype, even though we have been seeing a lot of reports that teams are going to be willing to give up a lot to get the one. The one I keep seeing is to the Colts, pick 4, pick 35, and then a first and a second next year for one. I could live with that. Like I said, if we could get Buckner thrown in there somehow, or Quentin Nelson, and we send back like Cody Whitehair or something, like That would be my ideal, but for their second and a first and second next year, also I think would be a really good deal for us. We probably end up with like the same player we would have drafted at 1 anyway, and no matter what quarterback the Colts take next year, they're going to be a bottom 10 team. So in reality, we can either be in the running, if not one of the worst teams in the league, be in the running for Justin Fields' potential replacement. You know what I mean? Or again, get a king's ransom for Drake May or Caleb Williams or whatever other quarterback is in that draft. DJ who will move from Clemson, will probably be in that one too. And even though his hype's kind of died down, he's still like 6'5", runs a 4.5 40, and's got a fucking cannon attached to his fucking arm. So he'll be up there as well. So any trades you've seen, like I said, I saw a lot. They were basically that plus Buckner when the season ended, and now it's kind of faded to no Buckner and just all those picks.
Well, the latest thing is Jim Irsay's comments to the media saying that they really like that kid from Alabama.
I didn't see that. I heard him say that they'll pay whatever or whatever, something.
Well, no, he also said that the reason why they hired Philly's offensive coordinator, what's his name, Shane Steichen, was because they knew that they were going to have to find a young quarterback to develop. Those were his exact words on the hiring of Shane Steichen. So, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Chris Ballard saying, I'll do whatever I have to get a franchise quarterback. Jim Irsay saying that he likes the kid from Alabama. Plus, the reason why they hired an offensive-minded head coach was because they needed to find a young quarterback to develop. Stars are kind of aligning there. So really, like you said, it depends on the trade package. 435 first and a second next year, I'd be okay with.
I could live with that.
A lot better. I would feel a lot better if we traded down from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 4. Obviously, we probably wouldn't get that next year's second for the number 2 pick, but I'd still be okay with 435 and next year's first for the fourth.
We'd probably get like
and maybe picking
a second and a third from the Texans, or a third and a fourth, or something like that. And then use those to trade back into the first and get Jackson
Smith or something. And it doesn't necessarily, it depends on the wide receiver, what we do just in general. Like if we get T. Higgins, there's really no need to go into the draft
I think we should
and get a wide receiver. You could probably get one in the 3rd or 4th round, but
that's true.
But if you're going back into the 1st round, I think you're taking the best available interior offensive lineman, but I also think you can pick, John Michael Schmitz.
Yeah, I think there'll be some good interior offensive linemen in the 2nd and the 3rd round. I don't think we'll need to trade back in the first. I think if we trade back into the 1st, it'll be for one of those tight ends that falls or one of those wide receivers.
Yeah, and I don't see Jackson Smith falling to 25. You know what I'm saying? I really don't.
I don't know. I have to see I'd have to see what he runs. I think Addison's going to go first, hype train. Then I think Quentin Johnson is going to just dominate the combine. He's tall. He runs fast. I don't think Jackson gets picked before him.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing too, is that even though you're tall and fast and strong, I mean, take a look at DK Metcalf. He was a freak at the combine, and he still was picked in the 2nd.
Yeah, but he didn't have the numbers. DK didn't have the numbers that these guys had. He was on I forgot where DK played, but he was like on a small school where like he didn't have crazy numbers. He just was a freak. He didn't like Quentin Johnson at 180 yards in a fucking national championship 1st round of the playoffs or whatever. Like DK never did anything like that. So, and that was a mistake too. That's what I'm saying. Like that helps him. Because they're like, look what happened. We picked fucking Jalen Reagor over DK Metcalf. Or no, it wasn't Reagor. It was JJ Arcide or Whiteside or some shit instead of DK Metcalf.
Yeah, Whiteside. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Philly picked Reagor. Philly picked Reagor over
Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, speaking of next year, the Bears, it's kind of funny that we're bringing this up because the Bears after the Super Bowl, in the first 24 hours after the Super Bowl, betting for next year's Super Bowl has already started. So the Bears open up at plus 8,000 odds, but they've been the number one pick so far for next year's Super Bowl in terms of futures bets. More bets have been placed on the Bears next year than any other team in the NFL. So their odds went from plus 8,000 to plus 6,000. That's insane. I mean, at plus 8,000, it's a good value. You know, you throw $100 on there, you have an opportunity to get, $8,000.
Yeah,
Anything can happen, especially with new websites now like Prop Swap and all this other shit where you can sell your, prop bets for, prop. Say the Bears make the playoffs next year and people want to buy up that ticket because they're the hot team. All of a sudden, you spend $100 on that ticket, you're selling it for $4,000 or whatever the case may be, with an opportunity for that buyer to potentially win $8,000. Like, I can see why the ticket's hot, but let's be realistic and let's curb our enthusiasm a little bit. They're not Super Bowl contenders next year.
No.
Playoff contenders, absolutely. They should be 7 to 9 wins. Let's get in the mix of things a little bit. I think this is going to be a 3-year rebuild, as opposed to like a 1-year, 2-year rebuild, quick turnaround. I think we're looking at closer to
I hope it's not 3 years. I really do.
I think it's going to be a 3-year. This was year 1. Next year's year 2, and then go.
Okay, I guess if this year was 1, then I guess maybe I could take that. But
because you got to think this was the first year they literally got rid of everybody and took on the most dead cat money in the NFL. Like, this has got to be year 1 of the rebuild. If this wasn't year 1 of the rebuild, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I guess in theory, I'm just saying, like, the rebuild starts in the off season. Like, this was just a tank season. Like, but I guess that is part of the rebuild. But yeah, not too much Bears news. It'll start to ramp up as time goes on, as some of these combine recipients get on, and some of these posturing Derek Carr. Before we get into the Justin Fields versus the field, Derek Carr officially got released. The Saints are shooting their shot. I didn't realize he was scheduled to make like $42 million. Like I said, I didn't think the trade was going to get done. I thought he made a little bit less than that, but still, like, I didn't think anybody's going to pay him. He's going to get like I'm guessing a 2-year, $65 million, $70 million contract, maybe with some incentives. I don't know where I think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Raiders. It's usually just very predictable where these guys go. Maybe the Jets, but he doesn't have any ties to the Jets. He didn't like he didn't like the spotlight of Green Bay. Like, what the hell is he going to do in New York?
See, I don't know. I'm just going to say the Jets for Aaron Rodgers, purely based on history repeating itself and him doing exactly what Brett Favre did to him when he was, and then Brett Favre ended up getting traded to the Jets as well. So
he was the Vikings first, right? Then the Jets.
No, it was the Jets first, then the Vikings.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't, and the Jets have the best young team in the league for him to go to. He's got Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, a really good running back, an explosive running back, a pure number 1 wide receiver, and an amazing defense. That's the best spot for him to go to. Sure, Devontae.
No, I'm not saying I don't think that's the best spot.
I really think he if he wants to win, if he wants his best shot at winning a Super Bowl before he retires, because he's only got two years left in him.
Yeah.
Probably his best shot is in New York, and I think he knows that. I think Derek Carr ends up with either the Saints, the Titans, or
Panthers. Yeah. Well, I guess Atlanta's in the mix too. They don't have anybody. They're gonna go young.
They have all, with the exception, I think Cordero Patterson's the oldest player on that offense, isn't he? Because you have Kyle Pitts, Tyler Algier. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough. Are they going to run it back with Desmond, with Ritter, and see if he can play and maybe shoot their shot for Caleb Williams or Drake May next year?
Yeah, probably the move.
It's going to be tough. Atlanta's tough to figure out because they weren't all that bad this year, even with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Like, they were in it for a while.
Well, that's because their division was so bad.
Yeah, and their division's going to be bad again next year.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know.
But
I don't know what they.
that's not a good thing though, because then it's like puts you in a weird situation where you can't tank because 7 wins get you in the playoffs, and then like you made the playoffs with 7 wins, and now you're picking fucking 24 instead of fucking 13.
But yeah, that's it. It's weird.
All right, we'll get into this one. We'll try and get through this one a little bit quicker. This one's a little bit easier. I won't say a little. There's a lot better quarterbacks in the AFC, but our rendition, would you rather, or Fields versus the Fields. This will be the AFC. Like we did the last one. This time it'll be just for the upcoming season. Which one of these quarterbacks would you rather have? In the future, we'll do maybe just like who would you rather, you know what I mean, taking into account contracts and future, all that good stuff. But to start off, we'll go to AFC North. Deshaun Watson. This is an interesting one.
If Deshaun Watson played like last year, I know he's rusty, but I'm also gonna it's a what have you done for me lately league.
Exactly. If we're saying
So
Justin
I'm gonna
Fields is
go with
better.
Justin Fields.
I agree on this one. I don't know. I don't think this one is too controversial because like he looked really bad and you just can't take 2 years off, come back. Maybe he'll be better. I mean, if he's 60% of what he was when he left the last time, he's probably better than Justin Fields. Just better than Justin Fields was last year. I think Justin is going to take a step. We're going to be better, and I have complete faith that Justin is going to be a top 15 quarterback at least. But that one's easy. This one again, Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. Yeah, obviously Joe Burrow is, you know what I mean, next to Mahomes, it's clearly him. Justin's got a long, long way to even be in that conversation with him. This one, not so controversial though. Lamar Jackson. This one's tough. I think I would go with Justin Fields just because we've seen Justin do what Lamar did.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, it's a what have you done for me lately? Lamar Jackson's MVP season was great. It was amazing. But oh man, that's tough. I want to with better weapons around him. If he had a true number one wide receiver, I want to see what Lamar Jackson can do.
Yeah.
So for me, honestly, I'm gonna call this one a draw. I can't make a decision.
It is tough. I like I said in this one, my homer love for Justin just like if I was gonna have either one of them, I guess I'll take Justin because he's younger and he's on our team already. But I do agree with you where it's very close because if we're taking what we already know about these guys in the play, Justin is a better passer than Lamar. We never knew he could run for 1,000 yards in the season. That was never something we thought was going to happen. So I just think at this point, he just has much more upside than Lamar has because he's got a better arm than Lamar. And then the last one for the Steelers, this one's easy for me. Kenny Pickett. Obviously, Justin Fields better than Kenny Pickett. He's a fucking bum. But he was a little bit better than I thought. Mitch Trubisky, same thing. I mean, obviously Justin's better than him. Maybe Mitch Trubisky will come be the backup for the Bears next year. I'd like to see that. Like I said, I ride for the Bears quarterbacks, and Mitch, he had some good seasons for us, and he took a beating for us, just like Justin did. AFC North, that one was quick and easy. AFC East, I'll start off with Tua. What do you think?
I'm taking Justin Fields. I think Tua's done.
I don't think Tua. I don't want to call him I want to talk bad about him because he wants to play, but yeah, I don't know if it's just.
I don't think if it's in his best interest. I really don't.
I think you're getting soft in your old age. I don't care about like that part. I really don't care because he's a grown man. If he wants to die playing football, more fucking power to him. I would not like that. Wouldn't be sad. I would be. That feels like I'd be happy if a guy like died doing something you love. Like it can't. Like yeah, it sucks. You don't want to die young. Whatever. Again, but I agree with you though. I don't think he's going to have a long career. I think if you throw Justin Fields on the Dolphins with Jalen Waddle and fucking Tyreek Hill, he'd look real fucking good too. But Tua was better than I thought he was going to be. But like you, I agree. I think he's done. Maybe play another season but he's going to take a couple more hits, get a couple more concussions. So I think like the NFL, it's going to be like this weird situation where the NFL steps in. It's like, we're not going to insure you anymore, so you can't play. Yeah, I mean, we don't want you to die on the field and then like make us look bad on Monday Night Football. But Justin Fields obviously has always been better than Tua. He's Samoan and short and slow and a lefty. Lefties never prosper in the NFL. The Jets, we don't know who their quarterback will be, but I use this guy just for a placemaker. Mike White, probably the premier backup in the league. But yeah, Justin Fields is obviously better than him as well, too, even though he has shown some flashes that he can sling that motherfucker.
I really like Mike White. I really do.
But the Jets is like they're like the Bears in the AFC where they're just terribly run. So it's hard to get a gauge on these quarterbacks, even though Zach Wilson's ass. Josh Allen, a year ago, this would be, you know what I mean? This is laughable, but I think Justin, in my opinion, Justin has showed he's got a similar trajectory as Josh Allen, but at this current moment, I would obviously go Josh Allen.
I think it's Josh Allen, and I still don't think it's that close. Not yet.
No, I don't think it's close. I don't think they're close. I just think Josh Allen has fallen back a step. Like it was like him and Mahomes and Burrow, and now it's like Mahomes, then it's like Burrow, and then it's Josh Allen, and you know what I mean, a couple other guys. That's more so what I mean. Justin Fields still not there. No, I just think Justin, in my eyes, I see flashes of what Josh Allen did. Like if we go out and get him a guy like, I mean, I don't think we'll be able to get a Diggs because he's a baller, but something like that. I think Justin will take the next step and be a similar, because Josh Allen is a no check down, throw in, run around all over the field, hold the ball too long type of motherfucker too. Like Justin Fields isn't the only person guilty of that. All the good guys, Mahomes, terrible throw back. You know what I mean? He's the GOAT because of how the crazy throws he can fucking make. But Josh Allen is that guy. Close it out, AFC East, the Patriots, Mac Jones. Obviously, it's Justin Fields. Mac took a step back last year. I thought it was a lot worse. I think that pressure. I think that pressure of the Bailey Zappi kid playing good really got to him.
I don't even think it's that. I think it was Bill Belichick fucking up after making Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator. Matt Patricia's offense was extremely predictable. Extremely predictable. And
I don't watch a lot of New England, so I do remember Matt Patricia was calling the plays, but I would guess in that scenario, Mac Jones has got a lot of leeway to make some checks. So
no, because they were showing, you know, clips of him blowing up on the sideline and even on the field, you know, pretty much, you know, calling out Matt Patricia and how his play calling was ass. Like it's no secret that you know, I think we'll see what happens next year. I'm still taking Justin Fields, but we'll see what happens next year because Bill O'Brien is going to be the offensive coordinator for New England.
He's a good offensive coordinator.
So we'll see.
All righty. The AFC West, they lost a guy. We won't have to do one. This will be a little quicker. Justin Herbert, what do you think?
Next year, I know Justin Herbert's the internet wonderling, the wonder kid. But I would agree. I still think he's better than Justin Fields. The stats he put up as a rookie and just, you know, still, I mean, they haven't won a playoff game, sure, but man, can that kid ball.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely Justin Herbert. I hope Justin Fields can we can get the players where he can showcase his talent like Herbert does. But yes, that kid has got arm talent. That he is Mahomes-esque in the throws, like how easy it looks when he's just out there slinging that thing. He can run too. He's a big guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely Justin Herbert. Super Bowl MVP and the actual MVP, Patrick. I forgot. I don't know what his middle name is. Probably like Joseph or Roger. Mahomes, obviously, the Prince of Chicago that was never crowned. Lucky for him, Brian Pace didn't pick him. He wouldn't be the two-time MVP or the two-time Super Bowl champion. He was on the Bears. I hate to bust the bubble of Bears fans. It's nice to think that, oh, what if we would have got him? It's like, yeah, like best case scenario, we made the playoffs once or twice, but he would have came here and got his fucking arm ripped off and his fucking confidence beaten into the ground.
He would have became Mitch Trubisky.
No, I won't say that. He's way better than Mitch Trubisky. I just think he would have been like Jay Cutler. I think he'd just been Jay Cutler was the Mahomes before Mahomes, where it's like he had that crazy arm. He was running around doing dumb shit. Like But yeah, obviously, you know what I mean. Like he never would have been there on the Bears. That's the only thing I could sleep at night, make it feel comfortable. What I do think is, I think Deshaun Watson would have been fine on the Bears. I think you stick it like he was on the Texans. You stick him on a bad team, and he's fine. I think Mahomes, he can play with lesser talent around him, but they still got to be organized. Everyone's got to be where they're supposed to be. Blocking's got to.
He has a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah,
he got to learn under Alex Smith for a year. And that's not a bad,
it's a dream scenario.
Learn behind.
Dream scenario. Yes, it was a dream scenario. Couldn't have worked out more perfectly. Yeah, if he was on the Bears, like Mitch was starting. He started like a few games in the middle of the season and then was back out again. But it's like he would have got thrown into the fire eventually real quick. But enough on Mahomes. So just the ghost of Christmas past, I guess. Russell Wilson. I feel like a year ago, this would have been, you know what I mean, laughable, and now it's laughable to think the other way. I would definitely go with Justin Fields. If we're just basing it on last year's play, I know we said before, I said before that I'd still think like Russ is better than Jimmy G, but I would take Justin Fields over Jimmy G too. So I think Russ has lost it. I think he'll be middle of the pack. I don't think he'll be as bad as he was last year, but I don't think he'll be as electric as Justin Fields is going to be.
All right. Controversial. I know. I'm actually going to take Russ here. Because I think Russ has a resurgent season next year under Sean Payton. I don't think it's, MVP conversation Russell Wilson from the Seahawks, but I still think he throws for 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns next year. Sean Payton is an offensive-minded coach, just his play design and everything else like that. I can't possibly foresee a scenario where that doesn't happen. If it does, then, the Broncos have come up with one of the all-time blunders in NFL history. That trade looks really bad already. But now that they're bringing in Sean Payton, who wasn't even their first choice, by the way, if this doesn't work out for us next year, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I know I said earlier it's a what have you done for me lately league, but I also think the coaching change is going to have something to do with it, and I think he's going to be a much better player with a new coach. Because I don't think Sean Payton's going to, stand up for any of his shit, with the private offices, the fucking private, crew that he has of executives.
Yeah, they already said that shit's done.
Like, no, Sean Payton's not going to put up with that shit, And I think Russ returns to form a little bit. Obviously, like I said, I don't think it's MVP Russ, but I still think he throws for about 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns next year.
I think he'll be better, but I think Justin's going to throw for like 3,500 and run for like 700. So I just think he'll have a better year. But all right, the AFC West and AFC South. I only got two names. One of them's not even in the AFC South, but I wanted to get him on this list. But the Texans really don't have a quarterback. The Titans really don't. I guess Tannehill, but I guess we already know the answer. That's a waste of time anyway. But I will start it off with Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence. It pains me to say it, but he is him right now. You see what a coaching change can do for a player's confidence and a player's development, and Trevor Lawrence he took a huge step forward this year.
Yeah, I would 100% agree that, yes, it is. Based on like those last years, they both look pretty shitty the first year. Trevor got the whole year to play, which was good for him. That's a lot of experience. I wish they would have gave Justin the reins right off the bat just to say fuck it. I think Poles, even if Nagy gets fired or whatever, Poles doesn't completely tear our roster to shreds if Justin Fields is a little bit better. They're like, oh, you want me to be like a soft rebuild. But yes, Trevor Lawrence took a huge step. He looked like you said, the guy, the number one pick. He threw some picks, but that's just what happens. That's why I wish Justin would throw more. I'm not worried about the interceptions. Like, you got to trust your guys. You got to go out there and zip those in there. And, learn what throws you can't make. You don't know you can't make it, so you throw them a couple times and somebody picks them off. You're like, all right, I know that one's not there anymore. These are the times you're supposed to be doing that. And I think Trevor Lawrence took that to heart. I don't watch a shit ton of games. I try to catch them a lot. I try to catch them though, and he usually got a pretty good demeanor. He throws picks, he shakes it off, he goes back out there and he plays his game. And yes, 100% Trevor Lawrence. As you said, it pains me to say because after the first season, I was like, who knows who's better? But Trevor Lawrence right now is head and shoulders better than Justin Fields. Because in fairness, I mean, he's got Kirk, who's better than anybody we got, but his wide receivers aren't that much better. He's got Mark, you know what I mean? Like his team is slightly better. Like all his guys are a little bit better, but he went out there and threw for a shit ton of yards. They made the playoffs. That's just it. You know, he won a playoff game, came back when he was down 24, won a playoff game. So, you know, it'd just be some hater shit to put Justin Fields over him. And the last guy I had on here, because this is a huge topic of discussion, but I mean, he's not even in the NFL yet. Bryce Young. I'll start this one off. I definitely do not want Bryce Young. I don't think he's better than Justin Fields. I don't understand how anyone would think that. He's shorter. Arm talent's not there. He's slower. It's just, I don't think he's got the heart that Justin has either.
I don't get the hype around Bryce Young. I think CJ Stroud
is definitely maybe, better. I
agree. I think Will Levis is a better prospect than Bryce Young. And the only reason, you know, he's small. He's not very fast. He doesn't have the arm talent. Just watching some tape, he reminds me of a poor man's, I
think I wouldn't say that. I would say he's a Tua, and I think that's what's helping him is Tua. They're like, oh, you give him two good wide receivers, he can go out there and play. I wouldn't say he's Kyler. Kyler is, he does kind of run. He runs around like I would say maybe a mix of those two. Because I do see what you're talking about, running around trying to make hero plays. Tua didn't really do that, but I think Bryce also makes like the dink and dunk throws. Kyler doesn't really. Kyler's kind of like Justin Fields in that way, where he doesn't make a lot of the check downs or the dink and dunk throws. And I think Bryce Young does do that, and he comes from a team. Except I think Tua's success is really working with him, but I just think he talent wise, it's not even close. Like he's not.
Like I said, I don't understand the Bryce hype. I really don't.
I think Stroud is good.
Maybe he proves me wrong. I think CJ Stroud, if I were to rank my quarterback rankings, I would go, and this is just my personal bias, and I understand there's going to be some disagreement, so please let me hear it in the comments.
Yes.
I realistically have Bryce Young as my third quarterback off the board. In terms of just prospect-wise, I have CJ Stroud and Will Levis above him just in terms of prospects. And I have Bryce Young and then Anthony Richardson at 4. I'm an old school quarterback size guy. I don't like the small quarterback statures because I just don't think. I mean, even Jalen Hurts is 6'1". You know, I think
he's stocky though. Like you got to be built to last.
You have to be above.
You're gonna get hit.
Like I don't see it. Kyler Murray's, he got hurt, and granted, that's something that is kind of out of his control. But even before he got hurt, he really wasn't playing all that well.
I mean, he gets hurt every year too.
The only short quarterback I could think of that had a very successful long career was Drew Brees, and that's 1 in a million. I think
Doug Flutie.
But Doug Flutie's not. He was never really that successful as an NFL quarterback. He played for a long time as a backup, but he wasn't, like a superstar.
That's the only other short guy I can think of.
How tall was Mark Brunell? Because Mark Brunell was pretty successful.
I think Brunell. I know who you're talking about. He played in the Jags, right? And then the Redskins. I think he was taller than. I think he was 6 foot. But all right, that was the end of Fields versus the Fields. That was the AFC side. Like I said, one more time. Maybe we won't beat it to death. Maybe in a couple weeks, a month or two, we'll do. Maybe closer to the draft, we'll do. Like I said, would you rather? We'll just do more like a rapid fire, like Justin for this guy for the future, not just next year.
How about a little guess the bear? Factor cap. I'll say for next week. I got some good ones for next week.
All right.
But I think you're gonna have a challenge with this one.
All right.
I don't know if you're gonna get it. All right. So the guess the bear this week. First hint. 3rd round draft pick in 1999 out of the University of Louisiana Monroe. His career
Charles Tillman?
No.
Louisiana Monroe. No, he went to William and Mary, now that I think about it.
You ready for the next clue?
Yeah.
His career path. He played from Chicago from 1999 to 2003, Miami from 2004 to 2007, back in Chicago in 2008, and then played for Atlanta in 2009.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck. Man. Trying to think. Give me another clue.
He is
Louisiana.
a one-time Pro Bowler in 2002.
99. That was the Urlacher draft, right?
Urlacher was drafted in 2000.
2000. Okay, yeah. He was an All-American in 99. All right, another clue. Fuck.
He broke Johnny Morris's record for receptions in a season by a Chicago Bear of 93 by catching 100 balls in 2001.
Oh, fuck.
There's not a lot of good Bears wide receivers.
I can't. Yeah, I was going to say, like, nothing's sticking out. I can't. You might stump me this week. I can't think of a Louisiana Lafayette wide receiver.
Louisiana Monroe.
Monroe. Isn't it Monroe Lafayette, though, or some shit like that? Lafayette. I don't know.
In 2002, his Pro Bowl year, he had 97 catches for 1,189 yards and 6 touchdowns.
I have no idea who it is.
All right, these next 2 clues might give it away. They might help a little bit. He was traded from the Bears to Miami for Adewale Agumia.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that.
And he wore number 86.
Oh, now I know. I didn't remember he was from Marty Booker.
Marty Booker is right.
Yeah, I know. 86 gave it away right, but I didn't remember. I don't remember any of those facts about him either. I don't remember. Man,
the one thing, it is weird because I was thinking about Alex Brown was on. I think it was Waddle and Sylvia. It was one of the 2 the shows or whatever, and he brought up Adewale Agumia, and I remember Marty Booker being traded for Adewale Agumia.
I didn't remember that.
So I was like, okay, I think that's going to be my guess in the Bear this year because before Brandon Marshall came to Chicago, he was that guy, wide receiver for the Bears. Marty Booker
was decent. Yeah,
he was very underrated.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with Johnny Knox this week because he's one of my all-time favorite Bears.
Should reach out to him. We might be able to get him.
As soon as I would have, said, Texas Christian Abilene or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You would have been like, 13, oh, yeah. Nice. Like,
we'll find him on Twitter. See what that guy's up to.
I love.
All right, that's it though. We'll do Factor Cap next time.
Yep, Factor Cap next week.
Well, that was good. Hopefully, if the Colin Cowherd thing gets a good reception, maybe we'll do a little more of that every episode. We'll react to the hottest take of the week or whatever. But let us know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, especially if you watch this whole thing, you haven't liked it. Well, fuck you. But all right, I'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Adios.